What's up, guys? Kevin here, and today we're going to talk about probably my new favorite cash rewards card to use on a daily basis. The real benefit here is we finally have an option that gives us over 2% cash back on all purchases. So you're not locked into a certain merchant, you're not locked into getting airline points or hotel rewards or anything like that. This is a card that gives you an option to get cash back at over 2% rate on everything that you buy. So this is really exciting, especially for those of you that have been, daily using a card that gives you 2% cash back. Now we've got something that gives us a higher option. This one actually gives us up to 4%. And so I've had this card for about a month and a half, and I just wanted to make this video as a review for you guys so you know how this card works, what my experience has been like, and this can help you decide if it's the right card for you. So let's go ahead and talk about it. So the card we're talking about today is the Smartly Visa Signature Card from US Bank. And this is a super high quality card. As soon as I received it, I could tell it was really high quality because it has a full metal construction. It also has the chip, so you can do the insert to pay for additional security. And it also has the tap to pay option. So it should work at virtually any merchant that you run into. This card is designed primarily for people that have good to excellent credit. So I would say if you have at least a 700 credit score or above, this card should be something that you can get approved for pretty easily. But even if you have a little bit below that, I would still recommend applying if you're interested and just kind of see what credit limit they give you. So I applied for this card as soon as it came out. I think it was on November 14th of this year. And like I said, I got approved pretty quickly. I am already a US Bank customer, so I think that made the process a lot more streamlined. They autofilled all my information. The only thing I had to confirm was like my job title and salary and stuff like that. And then within probably 30 minutes, I got my approval letter and then my card was in the mail. So that worked out really smoothly. But even if you're not a US Bank customer, I think this is a great card with a lot of really good benefits. So at the base level, it gives you 2% cash back on every single purchase. So this is in-store, online, any purchase that you get, it will give you 2% cash back. However, if you have money invested with US Bank, then you get additional cash back on top of the base rate. So for example, if you've got between $5,000 and $50,000 invested with US Bank, then you're eligible for an additional 25% cash back bonus. So that makes your total cashback rate at 2.5%. Now, if you've got between $50,000 and $100,000 invested with US Bank, you get an additional 50% bonus. So now the total is 3% cashback on all purchases. And if you're one of the lucky ones that has over $100,000 invested with US Bank, you now qualify for their maximum 100% bonus. So that doubles your cash back to 4% on every single purchase. Now, that isn't something that I qualify for yet. That is a goal that I'd like to achieve. But even if you're on the lower end, like I said, just getting 2.5% cash back on every purchase is huge. I think this is basically just a discount on everything that you would be buying otherwise. And if you've got airline cards and other things that you're using for specific purchases, this can just be, the one that you keep at the back of your wallet. So anything that isn't specific for a merchant or whatever deal you're getting, you can use this card instead. Now, there are a wide variety of accounts that you can have with US Bank to qualify for this rate. But the way that it works is they basically look at the past 90 days and they look at your average daily balance. So basically, they'll look at your checking account, your savings account, any CDs you have, IRAs, any accounts that you have with US Bank that aren't like a business or a commercial account. It goes up to that total daily balance rate that they're averaging. And whatever your daily average is, wherever it falls within those tiers, then at that month, when they look at your cash back, that's how they'll determine the bonus that you get on top. So you've got a wide variety of options. I highly recommend at least opening a checking account, but they also have their Smartly savings accounts that I use, and that gives you a nice amount of interest as well. So I started using that this year, and it's nice to, instead of get a couple cents on my emergency savings, now I'm getting a couple bucks, and it does rack up over time. So if you do need an emergency savings account or something with, some money stashed away that you can access quickly, I think that's one of the better options out there. Now, as far as credit cards are concerned, I have a lot of them. So I'm going to try to highlight some of the pros and cons that I see with this credit card based on my experience over the past several years. The first and biggest one is it is a Visa card, which I find to be accepted in the most places, especially for people that travel a lot. It's really important to have a good Visa card in your wallet that you know will be pretty much available to use anywhere. So I really like that this is a Visa card and not something like a Discover or American Express that can kind of have hit or miss use. The other thing is it has no annual fee and it has 0% interest for the first 12 months. So this is a card that you can use pretty liberally, even if you're trying to pay off debt on another card. You can use this card for the first 12 months with no fees, no interest, and slowly pay that off if you need to. Now, I still highly recommend not using this as a way to deposit a bunch of money with a cashback card. This is something that you probably want to use regularly. So you'll use it for regular purchases, pay them off, and look at that cashback as just a free discount. It doesn't really give you extra money to spend, but it is a nice way to save money on purchases you would already make. So even though that's an option, that's not necessarily the way I recommend using it. It also has a relatively high credit limit, at least out of the cards that I have. It is definitely up there. I have been a US Bank customer for a while, like I said, so that might have helped. But I think just in general, if you've got good credit, they are very generous with the credit limits. So if that's something that you're looking to do to increase your overall credit limit so that you can increase your credit score, this is a great option for that as well. And then finally, of course, the biggest pro is the high amount of cash back. I don't know of any other cards personally that give you more than 2% cash back on every purchase. If you guys know of one, definitely leave a comment down below so I can check it out. But being a US Bank customer and having this option to get up to 4% cash back on everything just kind of made it a no-brainer for me. Now onto the cons, and I've got to say, even though I am a US Bank customer, I have to admit that US Bank isn't that popular. I live in Cincinnati, Ohio, so it's pretty widespread around here and in the Midwest, but in a lot of other areas, there are no US banks. So I know a lot of you guys might not already have a bank account with US Bank, and that might be something that you've got to consider. Do you want to open an account with a small bank that is not really across the United States, like PNC or Bank of America or some of these other larger corporations? However, of course, there are big benefits to being a US Bank customer because that increases your cash back, and that's the way that you really get the points back as cash. And I guess I should clarify that everything that you're getting as a return with this credit card is coming in the form of points. So for every dollar you spend, you get 2 points. Now, if you've got a US Bank account, you can redeem those points for cash and it'll basically be deposited immediately. No delay, it's immediately available in your account. However, if you don't have a US Bank account, then you've got to resort to using those points for like a statement credit. Now, another con is, of course, you can qualify for 4% cash back, but you need a lot of money invested with US Bank to qualify for that. You need over $100,000 in your total US Bank portfolio for that to work. And like I said, that excludes business accounts and commercial accounts and some that might more easily achieve those kinds of numbers. You need those in personal accounts. Now, again, I don't have that much invested with US Bank, even though I am a US Bank customer. I'm more focused on paying off my house and trying to pay off some other debt. But I do think that that is something where I guess it's a little bit misleading because people assume that this is something where you can just get 4% cash back on everything. But in reality, you need a pretty sizable deposit in your holdings with US Bank to qualify for that. But I'm still satisfied with getting just below that because, again, it's still more than the 2% you'd get everywhere else. And then the other thing is, even though this has 0 annual fees and 0% interest for 12 months, it does have a foreign transaction fee and a balance transfer fee. So if you're planning on using this for traveling, even though it's not the highest fees out there, it does have a fee. And the same thing for balance transfers. I would much rather use a card that has a 0% balance transfer fee if that's what I want to use it for. But, 3% is still lower than the 4 or 5% you might see on other credit cards. So yeah, overall, I mean, this is one of my primary cards. Again, unless I'm using a card that has larger cash back at specific categories or certain merchants, this is the one that I use to cover everything else. It's kind of like my catch-all. And so I still think that it is a huge value, especially for people with US Bank accounts. If you don't have one, I highly recommend making one and qualifying for the additional cash back that this card can earn you. But, you know, it really just comes down to your priorities. I know a lot of people are very dedicated to their specific bank and they've got like a nice infrastructure of everything that they use with their package deals and stuff. So do whatever works for you. But in my opinion, this is one of the best cards out there for somebody that's open to trying something new. So let me know your thoughts. This is my first video on the channel kind of reviewing a credit card. I'm considering maybe doing a rating system or something like that. You know, whatever you guys are interested in or thinking about that could make this video better. I'm open to any feedback that you might have. But otherwise, that's pretty much all I had to say for today. So thank you for stopping by. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.